I'm She Russell for mining.com.au, and I'm once again coming to you from the RIU Resources Round-up, Sydney 2024. I don't know if I need to keep saying that when people see me talking to somebody in a booth. Joining me today in this booth is Luke Mortimer, the recently appointed CEO of Kalamazoo. Luke, how are you, mate?
I'm very good, thank you. How are you?
Very good. I'm not used to this back and forth with the mic. It's all a bit of an exercise in confusion for me. I normally have a battery pack here. Luke, it is an absolute pleasure to talk to you. You're a company whose history I have quite a history with your company. I've followed you guys quite closely. But let's talk about some of your recent activities that you've been up to. I know you've had the Kali Metals spin out and you've got some exciting things happening with your Ashburton project.
Yeah.
Which one of those two do you want to start with?
Okay, we'll start with Kali Metals and spin out, which was very successful. We were aiming for $12 million. We got $15 million. In terms of what it meant to Kalamazoo, we retained a 20% interest in Kali Metals. As well as that, we gave an in-species distribution to our existing shareholders. Now that the current price works out to be a return to shareholders of about $15 to $16 million. So that's a very successful result for us and for our shareholders. Interestingly enough, the 20% equity that we retained in Kali Metals is currently worth about 80% of our market cap, which is obviously a bit frustrating for us. I mean, obviously we're very undervalued, particularly when you consider our second transaction that we announced in February, where De Grey Mining have executed an option to acquire our flagship gold project, the Ashburton Gold Project. Now, they've already put down $3 million, non-refundable. The deal is in the next 12 months, possibly up to 18 months if they need more time, to do more met test work and development studies. If they execute the acquisition, that'll be $30 million to Kalamazoo over two $15 million payments. So hopefully if that goes ahead, we'll be cashed up.
Now, just on the Ashburton project, 'cause I do think it's a little bit interesting, and I do love the geology nerd in me and bringing out the geologist in you. I believe the Ashburton project is a long strike from De Grey's Hemi project. Is that correct?
No, not quite. No.
That's what I got told earlier, and I just completely regurgitated. Busted.
The Ashburton's actually near Paraburdoo. It's about 200 kilometres from the Hemi site. But the difference is the Hemi resource has got a grade of about 1.2 grams, whereas the Ashburton Gold Project is about 2.8 grams. So potentially, 2.8 gram will make a higher grade concentrate, which could be of value to the Hemi project overall.
Now, I know I shouldn't have favourites, and I don't have favourites, just in case anybody's listening, but...
Except for us.
But you guys are, originally I started following your path because you guys started out life with some Victorian gold projects. Now, as a Melburnian, I have an absolute passion for the Victorian goldfields. I've been writing about the Victorian gold rush renaissance since 2018. Tell me, is there any activity happening with, what have you got? You've got Castlemaine, South Muckleford,
Tarnagalla, but our main one is Mount Piper. Right.
Mount Piper. Is there anything happening with these projects?
Yes, well, funny you should mention it. About 1,600 square kilometres is the Mount Piper project, and it takes up all the ground in between the Costerfield mine and Southern Cross's Sunday Creek discovery. We've got all the ground in between. Now, that was a deal that we did a bit over 12 months ago. We've got geologists in the field at the moment. We're actually finding breccias and veins that have not been recorded before. In freehold farmland that we're happily quite easily getting land access agreements with. So it's actually working really well. The fact that we've gone out there to these areas that have never seen any exploration and we're finding outcropping breccias and veins is very exciting. We've got soils program starting. We're waiting for the rock chip results, and ideally we'll be heading towards our drilling program later in the year.
Let's just put that into context for everybody, because you mentioned that you've got areas that have been unexplored in the Victorian goldfields.
Correct.
We're not talking about a large area, so how did these areas get overlooked?
I'm not sure, because most of the goldfields areas and all the alluvial gold historically has all been in the adjacent province, which is known as the Ballarat Bendigo zone. The Mount Piper project is in the Melbourne zone, and that's more of the style of mineralisation there is younger. It's a higher, shallower level. It's called an epizonal type deposit, but it also comes with antimony. So the Costerfield mine on the northern border of the Mount Piper project actually produces not only gold but an antimony concentrate, antimony is a critical mineral, and so they actually get quite a good income from the antimony concentrate. And also at Southern Cross to the south, their gold is also associated with high levels of antimony. So it's a different style of gold. deposit, and it's in a younger province just to the east of where historically all the central goldfields have been.
Okay, well, as you know, I will be absolutely watching what's happening out in the Victorian goldfields because I really want an invite to come down and film stuff. Now, but before we close out today, of course you are an undervalued explorer. I'm yet to meet an explorer that doesn't think they're undervalued. But tell me, what can investors look forward to over the next few months for Kalamazoo?
Well, the project you were referring to, that's a long striker Hemi, that's Melana West. We're aiming to be drilling there in the second half of the year. Also, we're hoping to be drilling, hopefully in Victoria, Mount Piper project, and also in the second half of the year. But more importantly, because we've just offloaded and spin out our lithium assets, the Grey have essentially assumed control of the Ashburton gold project for at least the next 12 months. We've kind of, in a way, downsized our overall corporate portfolio of projects. So what we're currently doing, we're proactively seeking our next advanced project, our next Ashburton project, because we've got now a good track record of identifying and acquiring projects, adding some value, like in that Ashburton, we updated the resource value and found a partner, and monetising those assets. So we've got a good track record now, so we're proactively seeking the next advanced project. And I'm currently seeing probably a project a day come across the desk.
Wow.
Most of them do not fit our strategy, but we're looking for something that's maybe an unloved resource, got some economic hits, something where we think we can add value, add the resource, turn into an economic prospect, and also find partners to help monetise or develop that project. So that's what we're doing.
Look, it sounds like the best is yet to come.
Oh, of course.
Thanks for chatting with me. This has been great. No, you know I'm going to be rooting for you guys.
Always a pleasure.